This is Dante Williams, and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation. Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So this weekend, this Saturday, we had some really good fights on Showtime after what was a drought because we haven't had any good fights in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So I was happy to sit down and see some real good fights this weekend. Now, before I get into the main event with my man Rances Barthelemy against David Saucedo, or you can just say David, that's how they pronounce it, David. But anyway, before we get into the main event, let me just give you a quick summary of what took place on this card. You know, your heart has to go out to Chad Dawson, huh? Old Chad Bad Dawson was supposed to be in a very easy fight, somewhat of a comeback fight just to get his feet back wet, so he can get back on track. So he had somewhat of what was supposed to be a tailor match, cherry-picked opponent in Tommy Karpency. And I'll tell you right now, I knew from the first bell, the first round, I knew Chad Dawson was in trouble. Because Karpency, he looked pretty good. He looked relaxed. He looked like he knew what he was doing. He was aggressive. He knew how to throw counter punches. He threw very accurate lead right hands. So I knew Chad Dawson was in trouble. This wasn't your typical cherry pick, okay? Maybe Chad Dawson and his people thought it was, but when Chad Dawson is nowhere near where he used to be, this is not the type of opponent you want to be in a ring with. Tommy Karpency, he looked pretty good. Now, granted, Chad Dawson did injure his shoulder or hand or whatever in the third round, but even before that, Chad Dawson was in a fight of his life. It was life and death from the first round on. Okay, so it's really sad. And I'm gonna talk more about undefeated fighters that lose and how their career goes completely downhill from that first defeat. We're gonna talk about that in another video. Another good fight on this card was Willie Nelson versus Vanes Martirosyan. That was a really good fight. Martirosyan, he looked really good against Willie Nelson. Willie, who is very tall for the division, doesn't know how to use his height advantage like a Diego Corrales. He's basically standing 6'3", but he's trying to fight like he's 5'6", and he paid for it. Vanes Martirosyan, who has a far better amateur pedigree, was dominant on the inside, and even from the outside, honestly. Even when Willie Nelson was trying to use his jab, Vanes Martirosyan, he kept timing it. He kept timing Willie's jab and landing an overhand right over the jab perfectly over and over and over again. Matter of fact, it was a lead right hand that hurt Willie Nelson earlier on in the fight. So now we move to the main event. One of my favorite fighters today, Rances Barthelemy. This man right here is the complete package, guys. Complete package. I've been following this guy for a very long time, and now he's finally starting to make waves. Rances Barthelemy, he dominated a very game David Saucedo, who had came in this fight winning 14 fights in a row. He fights out of Argentina. The fighters out of Argentina are very tough. But more important than being tough, they're very smart, tough fighters. Okay? This is the reason why David Saucedo didn't get knocked out in this fight. He was getting beat from the first round to the final bell. Matter of fact, he lost every single round on every single judge's scorecard. But yet he never stopped trying. Okay? He was very aggressive. He threw very good combinations. I think every now and then he landed one good shot, maybe probably 3 good shots in the whole fight, but he never gave up. And like I said, because of his skill level, that's the reason why he didn't get knocked out. He was, somewhat of a watered down. His defense was somewhat on the watered down version of Lucas Matisse. All right? But nevertheless, Rances Barthelemy is the complete package. Rances Barthelemy He has shades of Floyd Mayweather in the ring, but with a lot of power. He goes to the body very well. He gets a lot of knockouts, actually. And, if he hurts you, he most likely will finish you off. Matter of fact, to show you how tough David Saucedo was, he actually hurt Saucedo at the end of, I don't remember if it was the third or fourth round, but he hurt him pretty bad. But it was at the end of the bell, or the end of the round, I should say, and Saucedo, he survived. So long story short, Rances Barthelemy, he is the real deal. This man is a beast. He's going to be very difficult to beat. He's calling out Mikey Garcia, and I'm about to drop another video and talk more about that. We'll see what happens from this point on. I'm on to the next one.